Hello, how are you today? Let's see if we can get this set up a bit better. I don't know whether to... Might leave it like that, hey? What do you think? That might be okay. Now, I'm just going to drag my chair in. A bit sniffly because I've got the mosquito coil burning again. So how have you all been? I know I was on yesterday, and I've actually been planning on coming on all day today, and last time I looked at the clock it was about 11 a.m. and it's now nearly 5 p.m. So I've been fluffing around all day. I haven't done much of anything really. I was going to plant some plants that need to be planted. I got up early this morning and started preparing my homemade compost and overexerted myself a bit. And then it takes me over an hour to get Willow set up of a morning by the time I cook a breakfast and bring her outside for a toilet and exercise and give her a medicine and get her settled in. There's well over an hour gone each morning. And yesterday and the day before I think I did some... I stopped in the shop to get some milk and ended up getting a whole heap of groceries that I hadn't planned on getting. And one of the things I got was a leg of ham, which I don't normally buy at Christmas. And I saw them there and I thought, bugger it, I'm going to buy one. But it was huge. It was 6.5 kilos. So I told my son about it and he asked if he could smoke it. So we made a glaze and I prepped it, did the cross hatching and the cloves put all over it and whatnot, and he came and picked it up on, must have been Wednesday night, and he smoked it and glazed it yesterday. So we've got double smoked whiskey glazed ham and it's bloody delicious. So today yesterday when he brought it back home, I've cut it all up, I've packaged it all. I'm waiting for him to come and pick some up because I won't eat it all. There's some in the freezer, there's some in the fridge. And today I actually cooked some pea and ham soup, which it's not the right time of year for it, but I cooked it and it was delicious. So I had pea and ham soup for lunch. And then I've just had an easy day. The linens that I got on Thursday, I've lost track of days. It was Thursday, I think, yesterday. The linens I got, I soaked them today, and I think I rushed the process a bit because I've had some colour run, so they're going to have to go back in, unfortunately. Hopefully the colour will come out. So I was a bit annoyed with myself. I've done it before. I get a bit impatient, and when I rush the process, I either put too much oxygen bleach in or make the water too hot, and I end up getting colour transfer. So I'll have to fix that. Now, I've been fluffing around with some ideas for sandwich tray cloths. So I've done this flower here, but I'm not convinced I like it. I thought I'd put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So excuse me for a moment while I do that, because that's the guys in our chat group from the Fire Brigade having a bit of a chat there. And They've been chatting most of today, so if I don't silence that, you're going to keep getting interrupted. Um, I've suddenly got a rash, some sort of itchy patch has appeared on my chin while I've been talking, and it's very itchy. It's probably mosquito bites or something. So I've been playing with some ideas for sandwich tray cloths. Why? Because I've got some beautiful bits of linen that are, off-cut from tablecloths, vintage tablecloths, and other bits of vintage linen and things. And I've been trying to work out what to do with them. Now, one thing I'm doing is I've got this beautiful piece, and this edge, some of it's a bit fallen apart, but this edge runs the whole length of this piece of linen. And I decided maybe 18 months ago I was going to stitch it. I was going to do some stitching every day. And I'm not convinced yet if I'm just going to do running stitch like this in different colours, or if I'm going to do it all in just blues, or I'm not sure yet. And then I had a thought today, I might embroider my name and my children's names and maybe my parents' names into it somewhere, just small, as a bit of a keepsake. So my original thought was to make a shawl or a wrap scarf sort of thing. It does have some stains on it that haven't come out, but it is vintage. It's beautiful vintage linen. This is all hand done. You can see it's all hand edged and finished, and it's a beautiful piece of work. So there was a part down the middle, sort of just offset, that had holes in it. It was all damaged. So I've saved this side to make this wrap thing, shawl, scarf, whatever it's going to be. As I said, I started it maybe 18 months ago, and then I had a big upheaval in my life, and every time I picked it up it reminded me of that, and so it's been away ever since. But when I was sorting through my stuff last week, I came across it again, so maybe it's time I got it out and do a bit more stitching, hey? So that's another thing I've got on the go. This is another part of it. So, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, I've got other bits of linen, smaller bits, and I've been trying to work out what I can do with them. So one of the other things I've come up with is I think I'll design some or redesign some sandwich tray cloths to do. Just small little things that I can add to the Needlebooks that I'm doing. So I thought that might be fun. Oh my goodness, it's a little bumblebee. I don't think I've ever seen a bumblebee here. I've seen a blue banded bee, but this is the most beautiful little, well, he's not little, he's about the size of my thumb, like a little teddy bear bumblebee. And his little legs are absolutely laden with pollen. He's gone over in the corner there near my ginkgo, so with any luck she is living up here somewhere. That's very cool. He's landed over there near my ginkgo on the veranda, so hopefully he's living here. That's very cool. So yes, I've started to try and do some designs for embroidery. Very rough sketch here. It was based on another embroidery that I have. I have changed it. I'm not convinced I like the flower that big. And it frustrates me because it's not balanced. So I'll have to fix that later, but that's okay. It's a rough sketch. I saw one today with the Sydney Opera House on it, and I thought that was marvellous. So I don't know whether I can come up with my own sort of concept of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Did I say Opera House the first time? I meant the Harbour Bridge. Had the Sydney Harbour Bridge across it, and it was really cool. So I wouldn't mind trying to come up with one with that sort of design on it too. So the linen. I've also got, this is for Kathleen. She's sent me an email and asked if I had a bit of this vintage or retro fabric for her. I've got a piece here. This piece is for you, Kathleen. I'm just pulling. I undid the seam when I got it. It was still sewn together, and they'd sort of just torn one part of the end off it, and it was very irregular. So I sat there very meticulously unpicking it all to try and save what I could, and there's still little bits of the cotton in where the seam was here. So this piece is, I've got my dad's tape measure here. There's another piece of, look, I keep seeing bits from that seam. So this isn't a very irregular piece, but this is the most sturdy, non-faded piece that I could come across. This is 74 centimeters on that side. A width acrossways, it is I need to fold this in half to measure it because I don't have the space. So 53, so it'll be 106 centimeters across. But then there's a funny short side. So it's sort of, this is where they've torn it across here. It has some holes in it, as I'd explained in the email. There's a hole there. There's a hole over here. And I'm sure there's a third one. Here it is. There's one here. They're the only three I can see. Oh no, there's another one. There's another one there. And again, this is the piece with the least holes in it. So this funny short side is 55 centimeters. So it's just cut at a funny angle there. And there's not much fading on this piece. It's slightly faded in this corner, but apart from that, it's not too bad. So there we go. There's a piece for you, Kathleen. This will be used in Kathleen's Gosling quilt, so I'm incredibly excited to watch that develop. I find it's exciting for me because I live in Australia, in New South Wales, and Kathleen lives in Canada, and we've met via YouTube. And the Gosling quilt was designed or written by a lady that lives half an hour's drive away from me. So I thought that was really cool too. And Kathleen is going to be making one of the Gosling quilts. Hopefully I will be doing one soon too. Maybe not, because I've got at least 10 quilts on the go at the moment. I'd love to do a Gosling quilt. It's absolutely stunning, and it has some vintage fabrics in it, and vintage embroideries and things. That's enough, please. Come on, Bubba. Come on, chick. Willow has been wanting to sit out here with me today, which is quite unusual. I don't have a front fence, which stresses me, so she's on her lead and she's free to walk up and down on the veranda. She's in the shade. The sun's moving across this afternoon, so there's a bit of sun on the front lawn, there's a bit of shade, and she's just been laying out in the sun, rolling around, having a fabulous time. What else was I going to show you? Kathleen, you asked if I had any other fabrics in these colours. I don't think I do. I've had a look. I can't find any. Except I do have, and I'm not sure if I want to part with these yet though, because I've been collecting these. These are vintage Chinese silks that were my uncle's. He used to bring them back from Hong Kong many years ago for my aunts to create things. This piece, I don't know what has happened to it. It's got wear here, but look at this bit. Look at that. There's obviously something spilled on it and it's eaten it away. But yeah, I've got these vintage silks. This one's not as old, obviously. I say vintage, I believe he probably bought them in the 60s and 70s. Most of them. This one's a bit different, but I've got this. That's the only other fabric I can find in my stash that is in those colours, but it's a vintage silk and it's not, I don't think it will go in with what you're doing. That's all I can find. Let's put these away. Okay, put the linen back. Now, I'm still chugging along with, where is it? This hanky. Now interestingly, I found some more of these hankies today and I haven't double checked, but the design looks the same. If it's not the same, it's very similar. But it doesn't have the perforated edge for the crochet. So if you're following along yesterday, I was doing a crab stitch around here. I changed my mind. I've been just doing another, I don't know what it is, making it up as I go. On here. So now I've done I think I've done 5 chain in every second single crochet along here. Now I'm doing, I can't remember if this is double crochet or treble. So I've gone yarn over twice, through the hole, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2. Oops, bugger. You lay down, chicken. And again, yarn over twice, through the loop, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull the hook through 2 loops, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops, and you're left with the 1 chain. Now I do 2 chain, 1 bugger, it keeps falling out, 2 chain, and again yarn over twice, so there's 3 loops on the hook, into the same loop, yarn over, pull the hook through, so there's 4 on the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and again yarn over twice, put it through that same hole, yarn over, pull the hook through, so you've got 4 on the hook, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through the last 2. And now I do what is that, a single crochet maybe? I don't even know what they're called. In the next loop, and then back to yarn over twice into the next loop, and I just keep going like that for now. So we end up with these. I don't know if I'll do another row or not yet. So that's what I'm up to with that. I had an idea this morning, which I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. These hexagons that I've been doing, I thought I would make another quilt with them. I love the colours, I love the prints, and the but is, as I mentioned earlier, I've got at least 10 quilt kits inside from 10, geez, 11, 12. I'm just remembering some others that I've got downstairs. At least 12 quilt kits from when I was working in the quilt store. And I'd really like to get those quilts done before I start another one, which is another reason why I haven't gone and started buying bits to do the Gosling quilt yet. And apart from that, it's not really within my budget right now either. But what I thought this morning is potentially I could piece these together and quilt them in a panel, but instead of making a quilt, I can use them for the needle books. So basically create it and then make my own cutter quilt for the needle books. Willow's lying down at the bottom of the stairs on the lawn. She's been so cute today. Just lying down on the lawn. Usually she wants to be inside. I'd say she'll want to go back inside when the March flies come out. So the other thing is, with this, if I decide to do this for the needle books and make my own cutter quilt, I'm now starting to think, should I put a row of white or off-white around each one? I think I will. It looks like it has to be white. That looks pretty white, doesn't it? I think I will, hey? Let's Yeah, I'm thinking out loud, guys. I'm sorry. Let me know what you think. I think that's my plan for now. And again, if you're commenting while I'm doing this, I can't quite see the screen. So I'm not ignoring you. I apologise, I can't see what's been written. So if I do these into a cutter quilt, should I put the white hexagons around each flower? They're such pretty fabrics, these ones. Where's a... What can we put in that one? I don't know. I keep leaning towards yellow centres in them all. I didn't do this one with the green. In fact, I've only done... The only one I've done is that one. This pink one here with the yellow in the centre. The others were all done by someone else. And funnily enough, you're not going to believe this. I couldn't believe this. I forgot to tell you this. When I went out on the truck on Monday, I took the hexagons with me to stitch. And one of the other members and I, we have connected because we both do the same kind of arts and crafts. We're both into spinning, we're both into quilting, we're both into all sorts of things, you name it. And I was telling her that I'd bought these at a second-hand shop. And she said, I dropped some off a couple of weeks ago to this second-hand shop. And I said, that's where I got them. And she's like, let me see. And she's like, they're the ones I dropped off. And I'm like, you are kidding. What are the odds of that? So I've ended up with her hexagons, which I thought was very cool. And the funny thing about it is it's not really a local store. It's not like there's quite a few right where we both live, and that's not where I got them from. So that was very cool. I can't think of what I was going to say now. I'm too excited about that. I think I want to get these done now so I can get some get my own cutter quilt happening. I've just noticed where have I put it? Where have I? Don't tell me I've left it inside. I have, you know. Oh, fiddlesticks. The bit that I wanted to do, I've left inside. So I was going to do a bit more of the, I was going to put this on the front of the needlebook I've started. I'm still working, this one's turned out quite small, this bark cloth one. Let's do, maybe we can do a bit more of this. This is the one that went funny, it went a bit haywire. I didn't manage to keep my lines straight. So I've come back up in between one of them just to even up the spacing a bit. So I'm going to end that off because I need to come back down to an end now. I just saw scissors. Where did I see them? In here. I was thinking yesterday, I've been a bit, I don't know how to describe it. I've been irritable, I know that much, and I don't know why. It's out of character, especially the last week or so, but particularly the last 3 days maybe. I've been irritable and a bit just feeling not fabulous. And when I went to physiotherapy yesterday, my physiotherapist noticed. She asked me what was wrong. I'm like, nothing. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm fine. And she's like, are you really? And I'm like, I'm fine. And she kept pushing and she's like, I don't believe you. And I said, I'm really irritable. And she's like, why? And I said, I don't know. And she was like, well, it's okay. You just come in here and we'll do some stretches and some yoga and that might help you a bit. And then when you get in the pool, and I was just getting a little bit more agitated. But anyway, we had a good old chat. And after speaking to her, I thought about something a friend of mine says. And I've been reminding myself of it all day. So I think I've been letting little challenges get to me a bit. I mean, in the whole scheme of things, they're really not a big deal. They are at the time, and there's been a few, so they add up a bit, you know. But in a week's time, or 5 weeks' time, or 5 years' time, I'm not even going to remember that they've happened. You know what I mean? They're not that big a deal. They're just challenges that are annoying and frustrating me at the moment. And I'm allowing that to happen. I'm allowing myself to get frustrated and annoyed. So what my friend talks about, she says that we often flit around and say things like, I have to cook the dinner tonight. I've been saying it all the time. I have to plant the plants that are here. You know, there's plants here that I have to plant. I have to mow the lawn. I have to do the washing, you know. But this friend of mine poses the thought or theory that we change our thinking around I have to, and instead of saying I have to cook the dinner, how about we say, and this is what I'm doing for myself today, I get to cook dinner. I get to mow the lawn. I get to wash the car. Well, I don't, because I don't have a car, but I get to wash the car. I get to feed my dog. How lucky am I that I get to feed a dog, which means that I have a pet and a companion who is by my side, who I get to care for and share my life with. I get to cook my dinner. How lucky am I that I've got food in the cupboard and a stove on which I can cook and a house in which I can cook it, you know. So today I've been reminding myself that I get to do all these things that a lot of people don't get to do. So when I'm feeling a bit sorry for myself or frustrated with my situation, I think about what my friend talks about when she talks about how lucky we are that we get to do these things when so many other people aren't able to. You know, I get to sit here and talk to you guys and share with you my knowledge of stitching and other arts. I get to meet some amazing people through here. I get to sit here and do something I enjoy and share it with you guys. So when I think about it, it's all pretty cool, really. And the more I think about all these great things I get to do, my feeling of feeling sorry for myself or frustration or annoyance or whatever the heck it is I've been feeling starts to go away. I am, however, still annoyed with these rotten mosquitoes. I don't know if you can notice, but I am struggling a bit to keep this stitching straight still. I'm trying to follow the weave of the fabric. As I've mentioned in other videos, I usually draw lines on the fabric to follow. But I thought I'd do this piece a bit more organically. So I'm not sure what I think of it yet. I'm determined to keep knocking that camera today, aren't I? You okay, chicken? That motorbike upset her a bit. She's just settling back down. You might be wondering why I'm stitching this way, why I'm not doing it like this. Let's see if I'm still in the screen, in the shot. A lot of people will do this running stitch like this. I just don't like how the thread sits when I do it like that. I have mentioned it before, so if you've heard it, I apologise. So there's this method where you do your running stitch, which is similar to sashiko, a sashiko style of stitching. Or you can go one at a time like this. you can do it the way I've been doing it, which is one stitch at a time, in and then back out, and then in, and each of those 3 different techniques I've just shown you, the thread sits slightly differently, and I like the way it sits when I do it like this. It's a bit more raised and it has a bit more texture. And I like how it feels. You can feel like these ones here that I've done the Shishiko style, they're very sunken in the fabric. And you can feel them, but they're not as textured. These other ones are sitting quite high. And yeah, I just like the raised texture, the look and the feel. So I'll get to the edge here, which I'm nearly done because that's starting to fray. I'll finish this off a bit. Normally I don't like to tie knots. Just because it gets a bit bulky, and then if I need to sew through that edge, it's a bit hard to sew through. I'm just going to tuck that in there and cut it off. And I think I've got enough to do another row. So I'm just doing a quilter's knot. And again, I don't always do knots. Sometimes I'll just do a holding stitch. I can see a dog hair. Might start on this side, so I'm just going to come in a little bit so I don't have as many knots on that edge. And I'll start stitching again. So again, I'm just trying to follow the weave of the fabric. And that's about all I can tell you in this so far. I'm just stitching. Stitching, stitching, stitching. I can hear, I think they're rainbow lorikeets. They might be, about this time of year the scalies come out too. I think they're rainbow lorikeets. They might be. They don't seem noisy enough. Yeah, they're the lorikeets. We've got sulphur crested cockatoos around at the moment, and the, what are they? The cuckoos, the ones that fly down from New Guinea to nest, and they lay their eggs in other birds. They kick the other birds' eggs out and lay their eggs and then leave. I just heard a whip bird. I can hear a noisy miner. We've got a family of magpies here. Kookaburras. What else do we have? I have been seeing some bowerbirds, which I've not seen around in previous years. So that's pretty exciting. We've got rosellas, eastern rosellas. Okay, chicken. She's lying down, having a whale of a time. She's lying in the grass, looking, watching things. She's got just the top of her head in the sun and the rest of us in the shade. I think I mentioned yesterday, I'm starting to think, I did these for another project, but I'm starting to think I might turn these into needle books too. I painted that fabric, and these are stencils I made and painted, the crosses. There's a bit of denim under there. This is a piece of vintage cotton that I really liked. I've stitched on. So I've stitched all this, and I stitched all this. I hand dyed these threads as well. So that's one. I think I was going to turn it into a pouch, but now I'm starting to think I might make needle books with them because they're pretty cool. And then I've got this one as well. And again, I've painted that. Dyed the fabrics, dyed the threads, stitched all this. I was really pleased with how these came out actually. Yeah. So I'm thinking now I might turn those into needle books as well. Instead of just vintage ones, vintage textiles. It's been such a lovely day here today. It's only about 25 degrees. We keep getting warnings that we're going to have a severe heat wave, but it's been very nice. There's been a slight breeze for the last couple of days, which is lovely. It's getting very dry again though. The gardens are dying again and the lawns are dying. A week or so ago they were so green and lush, and yeah, they're starting to go. I've been hoping my son might turn up again to collect some of the ham. Don't yell at people, darling. Come on. Willow. Lie down, sweets. She just yelled at me then. Lie down, darling. I need to start writing things down because of an evening I think, oh, I can show you guys this next time. And then when I sit down to show you, I forget what it was I was going to show you. So I think I need to start writing it down when I think of it. See this? I thought I'd been following that fabric and I've started off that far apart here, and as I'm getting up this end it's getting closer and closer to that last line. This is what keeps happening. I don't know if I'm not following the weave closely enough, or if it's crooked. It can't be that crooked because it wouldn't come back in on itself like that. So it must be me. Just untwisting the thread. I can hear a dog. I can hear a couple of dogs actually. I hear a small dog and a larger dog barking. Don't know what else I can talk to you about. Yeah, I'm going really crooked again. I can tell you that I've got no idea what day it is. I think it's Friday, but I don't know what the date is because I haven't had a look. And I actually thought earlier it's probably a lot closer to Christmas than what I think it is in my head. Listen to those birds. Don't know about you, but when I do something like this, I get to a certain point and I think, not much to go now, but then it takes so much longer than what I think it will. I think this is the first time in weeks I've been able to sit down and just stitch and not think I need to hurry up. And all these things running through my head at the moment, like I had thought about making some sweets for Christmas Day, and I've just realised I haven't given that a second thought. I might have to go and do some shopping again and pick up a few things. Although every time I make food to take to my sisters for Christmas, I often wonder, why did I do that? Because there's so much food and I nearly always end up bringing it back home again. Come and lay down, Bunny. I love these colours in here. Every time I get to them I think, oh, look at them. They're delicious. It just reminded me, there's a fellow on Instagram that I follow. I don't remember his name, I'm sorry. But he says something like, I might get this wrong, but it's something like, follow me, I'm delicious. Come and lay down, Peanut. Her favourite neighbours out the back, I can hear them. And every time they're out there, she just about turns herself into a knot to get to them to see them. cut this one a bit fine to end off. Yeah. It's still, even though I basted it, it's still puckering. Need to pull all this basting stitch out too. Ouch, I got an ant and it bit me, little bum. I was watching it crawling on my hand and I thought it won't do anything and it bit me. I hate it when I catch the basting stitch. I try not to, but sometimes you just catch it with your stitching so it won't come out. There we go. The amount of times I go through and pull the basting stitch out, and then I'll come back the next day and go, oh, where'd that come from? I must have missed it. That happens a lot. That one's not going to come. There we go. Oh, it's still there. There we go. And what have we got here? Oh, where's that one attached to? Don't do what I just did and pull your running stitch out. Oh. Any more basting stitch in there? There's a dog hair. The harder I try to not get dog hairs on things, the more I seem to end up with. What's going on up here? See, I thought I'd taken all that out. I still found all that up there. Now I've only got the bits that haven't been stitched yet. Hey, that's enough yelling. Willow. Willow. There must be people next door. I can hear their dog getting all excited. She doesn't often. get excited like that, so she must know them. Come and lay down, please. Come on. The tail's wagging. Well, don't know how much more of this I can do without boring you silly if I haven't already. Well, that bit went crooked. I think Willow recognises them because the tail's wagging and she seems excited to see them. I don't know. They must be relatives of next door. My toes have gone to sleep how I'm sitting. Got a nice lukewarm coffee, not even that, it's cool now, but that's okay. But this is what I meant, I think I've shown you this before, when I draw the lines to stitch so I can keep it neat. So often I'll draw lines like this to follow. This is a piece of Sanderson, this one. I'm assuming it's not a vintage piece. Again, I struggle with the definition of vintage textiles. It says anything 20 years or older, and to me that's not vintage. I would just think that this particular piece of Sanderson is probably from the 80s or 90s. So it's certainly not a true vintage piece, it's more modern. It's a lovely piece of fabric and I do have more of it. But yeah, to me it's not vintage. This is something, I don't know if I've shown you this. I've got a terrible habit of doing this. This is a big no-no. You should not keep your needles in your work, and there's two main reasons for that. One of the biggest reasons is because if I go and put this away and don't touch it again for another 2 years or whatever, your needle can go rusty and you'll get rust in your work. Another reason is that it does distort the fabric. Not a great deal, but it does distort it. So that's a no-no, you shouldn't do that, and I do it a lot. This little, this pouch that I bought, at the second-hand store that some lovely lady commented and said that she had made it, which I thought was very cool. I take it everywhere with me. I love it. I've been taking it to hydrotherapy and physiotherapy, and more recently I've been packing it and taking it with me on the fire truck when I go out on the truck. And it's just a fabulous, handy little thing to have with me to take projects in. And even though I think I mentioned at the time it was a bit out of my price range that I'd normally spend, but I fell in love with it. I love the fabrics, I love the concept, I love, you know, some of these fabrics to me look vintage, some look more modern. But I'm so glad I bought it because it's been so useful and so helpful, and yeah, I love it. I've added this zipper pull. It took me a while to find one that fitted in the zipper, but I found this lady beetle and a little daisy, so I've added the zipper pull to it, which I love. Look at it, it's so cute. And I've even been thinking about maybe adding some handles, because when I take it out with me though, I tend to roll it like this so nothing falls out. So I tend to roll it up like this and then stick it in my backpack or my bag and take it with me. But I love it. I've used it a lot. I use it nearly every day, and then when I go of an evening, when I go to bed, I take it downstairs with me and it sits beside me while I do some stitching of an evening before I fall asleep. So yeah, I use it every day. Love it. But I think I might go because I'm probably boring you all senseless. I'm not going to fit 3 pairs of glasses in there. And it's starting to, the sun's starting to sink down behind the lake now. So it's starting to get a bit darker. As I said, that's the piece I've pulled out for you, Kathleen. I can't find any more. I'm thinking tonight I might do some more of those hexagons. There's so many things I want to get finished. And I want to make gifts for people for Christmas, and I've left it too late because even though I've been racking my brain trying to think of what I can make for everyone, I couldn't think of anything. Now that it's come to the crunch, I'm thinking of things. But anyway, I'll get going, guys. Thank you so much for joining me again. I might have time to pop in again before Christmas. Hopefully I'll have something new or a bit more advanced that I can share next time. I hope you're all well. I just had a shiver then, goodness me. And another one. That's funny. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't yet clicked that subscribe button, I'd love it if you would. That would be fabulous if you could do that for me. As usual, if you have any questions or if you'd like me to clarify anything that I've shown you, just leave a comment and I'll respond to it as soon as I can. I'm just standing up now, so the joints are creaking. Oh, look at that. This is what I was looking for. I was going to stitch that. even though I've ummed and ahed over whether to do this, use silly goose. I put that crochet hook in that pouch, and I did this the other day, and it is hooked through everything. Oh, what a knucklehead. I need to get a plastic sleeve or something to put over the end of this hook. Now it's pushed through there. What a numbskull. Okay. So what I was looking for earlier was this, so I could stitch. I think I want to stitch this, and I keep changing my mind. I think I want to stitch this crocheted medallion onto the front of this needle book. What do you think? Yes, no, maybe? Leave it blank? Try something else? I keep coming back to it so far. But anyway, had it here the whole time. That's for Kathleen. That's my special little roll. And yeah, okay, I'll say good night, guys. Thanks for joining me again. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you again soon. Have a fabulous weekend if I don't pop on beforehand. And be safe. See you next time.